feel like I look a little bit like George Michael in Last Christmas, but we'll go with it. So since it's coming up to Christmas, I thought I could run you through my favourite Christmas films and ones that I find myself rewatching again and again, and hopefully you have very similar choices as well. So in at number 5, we have Arthur Christmas. Now this is a newish kind of film, came out in 2011 and follows Arthur, who is the son of Father Christmas, and he has to go on this mission to ensure that this one child that Father Christmas and Arthur's brother have missed off the list, and he feels it's really important to go and give that child the present that they've been wanting, and they go on that adventure. I really love the animation style, and I know they partnered with Aardman to create this film, and I think it's really cute design. It's very British, lots of British actors, and I think it really works for the tone of the film. The film really focuses on the sort of generations of Santa. You have sort of grandfather Santa, and the two sons, and that sort of dynamic, and the responsibility of taking over like the family business, and that can be applied to, you know, many sort of dynamics, you know, in real life. So I think that's why it's so attainable for many people. I'm sure many parents that might watch with their kids can really sort of attach themselves to this film. I think this film is really magical and it has a sweet message at the heart of it, so I would highly recommend watching this one with the family. So at number 4, we have Home Alone 2. Now, I'm sure many people are going to say Home Alone 1 is the best Christmas film. Well, I disagree. I think Home Alone 2 is much better, and I think that's mainly because it's set in New York, and New York to me is very Christmassy. I was quite lucky enough to go to New York years ago now, just after the Christmas time, and sort of feel that magical spirit in the air, and all the decorations were still up, so that was beautiful. And Home Alone 2, yes, the story is similar to the first one, and it's in a different setting, but I think this one's done so much better, and the environment allows you to really sort of feel for Kevin more, I think, because he's in a big city, whereas in the first one he's stuck at home, which isn't too much of an adventure, and you know, there's people that come into his house and try and threaten his home. But in number 2 you have that scope where he's in a different city, and I think it just adds a lot more. You can play a lot more with those sort of environments than you can in the first one, and of course Tim Curry's in the second one, so need I say more? So number 3, we have The Grinch, or How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm sure this is a favourite for many. I think it's up there for me because Jim Carrey is very much a comedic hero of mine. He was there sort of when I was growing up in the 90s, watched a lot of his films then and even now. But for me, I think the physicality of this film, to do it through the makeup, is excellent, and his voice and everything he brings to this film is worth it for sitting in those 8 hours or whatever it was to sit in those chairs and get makeup done. I think this film really pays off. And just like Arthur Christmas, this is a good family film, and it has that sort of sweet message at the core, you know, sort of spending Christmas with everyone and making sure everyone's involved. And I think it's excellent. I think the supporting casts are great as well. I think the world building is really, really well done. So my number 2 favourite Christmas film is Jingle All the Way. I know some of you may laugh at this film, but I think it's beautiful. I love it so much. I quote it regularly. You know, I love this film so much. I think Arnie does a great job. He plays the part well, I will say that. And I love the neighbour. I think he's excellent. Just like with Home Alone 2, it has this sort of scope. You know, we follow Arnie's characters. He tries to find this superhero toy that his son is looking for, and he's left it to the last minute. And that allows him to go all over the sort of the city, and leads him on this adventure, fighting Sinbad's character as well along the way. And again, like many Christmas films, it does have that sweet touch. But I just think this is so funny. I can watch it again and again, and I always recommend it to people. Like, this is top tier Christmas film. I just love Jingle All the Way, and if you haven't seen it, please do watch it and let me know your thoughts. So in at number 1, what is it, Sarah? What could it be? Well, my number 1, personally, is The Santa Claus. And that's the one that stars Tim Allen, not the one from the 70s. The Santa Claus, the Disney one. This is one of the films I've probably seen a lot of, regardless of Christmas time or not. I watch it every year. It's tradition. Me and my mum watch it. And again, it's just like Jingle All the Way. I quote it outside of Christmas. You know, there's so many excellent lines in this. Tim Allen, I love his humour in this, and I loved it even as a child, and I think he's one of these actors, just like Jim Carrey. He was sort of always there in the 90s as I was growing up. as an adult, looking back on this film, I didn't realise how interesting it was in that they showed a divorced family and that dynamic, and I thought that was interesting because obviously I just sort of, absorbed that as a child, didn't really think about it, but that at the time was an excellent way to sort of show that dynamic and show a sort of step parent with Neil come into the sort of relationship, and that sort of how can it work and how can, Scott Calvin move on with his life and accepting that his, ex-wife has moved on and wasn't happy. So there's that sort of real sort of mature, deep sort of message along there, alongside lots of comedic moments. And The Santa Claus is excellent because every time I watch it now as an adult, I notice that all these little sort of mature jokes, little hidden sort of Easter eggs, there's always something new to discover in this film. So there you have it. There's my top 5 Christmas films. Obviously it's all subjective. Everyone's going to have different favourites on what they grew up on or any sort of new watches that they absolutely love. So do let me know your favourite Christmas films down in the comments, and I would love to read those. If you feel inspired to also do a video like this, do let me know and tag me. I would love to check that out. But either way, I will see you in the next Popcorn Chat.